Welcome to the new moon of February 2020, and this is the Pisces moon, and it's all about spiritual connection. Apparently my dog wanted some spiritual connection, so hopefully she's not making too much noise with her deep breathing exercises, and we'll be able to get through this whole new moon ceremony without too much struggle. So I really welcome you for coming, and I am just grateful, and I just want you to honor yourself for showing up and doing a little ceremony and ritual for yourself, because this stuff is really important and often we don't stop to take advantage of it. And so during this this hour or less, probably less, we're all about grounding and getting into our hearts and listening to what our inner wisdom is saying to us. We're going to do a visualization for that. First, we're going to review last month and let go of anything that we just don't want to take with us into the new month. And then after we do our visualization, we will set some intentions for this month. So let's jump right in so that you get the most out of your minutes. So again, this moon is in Pisces, which means it's all about spiritual connection and this bigger purpose and abundance and gentle idealistic perspective. So we're going to really start being a little bit more gentle with ourselves, which is what Mercury retrograde would want us to do anyway, and really step into some spiritual connection. You might find yourself a little quieter during this this period. That is known to happen. So it's all about introspection and internal connections, and those external spiritual connections. So if you haven't met me before, I'm Christina Smith. I am a coach, and I also facilitate workshops and retreats mostly for women. And I'm all about finding a thriving life, which means chasing pleasure, not just running away from or surviving things, to where we really have a perspective where we all can really be thriving and not in that survival zone. And one of the things I love to teach about is archetypes, and I love phases of the moon in ceremony and ritual, because I think it's all feminine ways in which we really nurture ourselves, really grow ourselves, and get back into our flow, rather than pushing and wanting to shove our way into things. Does that make sense? So a couple of notes before we start is that if I use God, higher power, universe, you use whatever spiritual sense makes sense for you. This is all about you customizing and taking what works for you, leaving what doesn't. And feel free to give me feedback. I'm happy to hear whatever it is. But this is open to any religion, ideology. Just take it as it fits for you. So I like to ground ourselves because, coming in from the busy world, we can often be in our brains and not in our bodies. So we want to just step into a little bit of our heart space. So I'm going to ask that you take a big breath, a deep breath, and put your hands on your heart. So you can close your eyes if you like, or you can just soften them and keep them gazed on a specific object across the room, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then just breathe in. And feel that expansion in your heart when you breathe. Feel the energy and the movement. And notice as you tune into your heart space that those outside worries and anything before you started this connection here is dropping off. Your to-do list, your worries, your problems, just lightening, falling away. The rise and fall of your chest as you tap into that heart space. As you feel into that heart space, feel the energy. Imagine that energy has colors. Maybe it's milky white with some pink, cottony colors swirled in, and shimmering gold. Feel that energy in your hands over your heart with the white, pink, and shimmering gold. It's just a swirling ball. These are the colors of the heart vibration. Now tune into your heart, and we're going to ask a question. Ask the question of your heart, and don't judge the answer. Ask your heart, how does divine knowing feel? How does divine knowing feel? Now sit for a moment and just feel that feeling, whatever comes up, and just notice it. No judgment. After you've noticed that feeling and can somewhat describe it, take a breath and gently come back to the space you're in, back to my voice and back to this connection. And open your eyes or refocus your eyes when you're ready. Now, if you like, I often like to write down a few words of what that felt like, just so I can remember. So if you have a Desire Map Planner or you use a journal, whatever your favorite place to transcribe those things, feel free to do that now. And while you do that, I'm just going to go into a little bit of altar building. So I do this every month. And just so that you could see some of the things that are on my altar, I've put some of the things over here. This is not my altar. I have an altar that's over there. But if I were to show you, there's a window behind it, and it is currently lit up, so it probably wouldn't work so well. So for this month, I just took off some of the items, or before I put them on the altar. I always love some fresh flowers on my new moon altar as I am setting intentions, and the flowers are here. I don't know, it feels good. I can touch them, I can smell them. The other things that I currently have on my altar, and your altar may look like anything. I always usually have a Buddha of some type on there, and I do. That's not shown here. But I always have a candle or several candles kind of sitting there waiting to be used throughout the month. I have a dish for burning things. because sometimes there's things that I need to let go of, and we'll actually use that today in ritual. For today's ceremony, I have these luscious truth bombs X from Danielle Laporte. And so while I'm here, let's just pick one for tonight. Exceptions are made. Make them. Ask for them. So, what does that mean for you today? I also often have this crown. This reminds me of my divine knowing, or actually, it's usually my queen energy, right? My sovereign energy. And I can put that on while I'm washing the dishes if it makes me feel better. And then I have other things like my Mar beads someone gave me. I have all these stones because I'm teaching different classes this month, and each of those classes have specific stones with them. So I like to keep those on my altar so that I can keep those intentions and all of those participants and people in my intentions when I am meditating and when I'm, pulling up my energy. I like to include them. So those are some of the things that I have on my altar. You can set up your altar however you like it. I just like things to be sensory. Oh, the one thing I did forget to mention is I also have lavender that I use in that burn dish, so I don't have to smell the burning paper. I have this beautiful lavendery smell, and it came out of my garden, so it's special to me. So that's something that we'll use in a little bit. So I love to create my altar. My altar is all about my intentions for the month, the energy I want for the month. And we can do that, proactively by setting intentions rather than retroactively and responding to things rather than manifesting them or, receiving them. So let's move on. So the first action step for us to do in any ceremony or ritual, according to my friend Lynn, the important thing is to acknowledge in a shifting ritual, like what is it that you're leaving behind and what is it that you're stepping into. So right now we're going to look at our old intentions. So we might want to look as an observer, okay, at the last month. And what's happened, what worked, what didn't, what comes up for you. Let go of what didn't work and learn the lesson. So this is several steps. So first, what I want you to do is anything that you can think of that happened in the last month, major things that happened, whether they were things that worked, goals that were hit, or milestones that were hit, or even unexpected beautiful things that happened. And then also what didn't work, what was upsetting to you or what was disappointing. What lessons did you learn out of that and what comes up? So even if you need to pause this, feel free to do that. Since this is pre-recorded, it's easy peasy to do. And this doesn't have to be so detailed. We just really want to focus on the things that we want to let go and what do we want to bring forward. So there may be goals where you hit milestones or you didn't, but obviously you still have those goals. Just because you failed doesn't mean that you're like, scratch that, ditch it. So we want to bring those goals forward. We just want to let go of those of any extra energy, those misfortunes, or I don't want to say failures, but mishappenings, whatever didn't work, we want to let go of the thoughts behind it, right? The stories we're telling ourselves about it, and just keep that goal fresh and steady up front. So write them all down, and then step 2 is to pick out all the things that you want to let go of. Maybe you just put like a little star by them. And then circle all the things that you kind of want to focus on in the next month. Maybe there's things that you don't want to get rid of and you don't want to work on in the next month. That's perfectly fine. Just leave them alone for now. But any of the ones that you star, I want you to write on a separate piece of paper, a small one so that we can burn it. You know, we don't want to have to set a bonfire. And I found that the thinner the paper, the less smoke that you're going to create, or the more natural of the paper. So write all those on a separate piece of paper, and then come on back. Come on back to us, and we will do the next step, which is going to be getting moving into this moon. Okay, did I get you back? Did you write your list? Or there's some pretty cool things that happened or that you accomplished or that you're just proud of yourself for making it through? I mean, whatever it was, I'm sure that there's good and bad with everything. So, and maybe you came up with that little list of things that we want to get rid of. So about this moon, we're going to do that little paper thing in a little while, but before we step out of something, I always like to know what we're going to fill it with. So this is the ritual, right? Clearing out all the garbage that we no longer need, maybe all those stories or old messages that are not helping us move to our goal. And then we're going to create this gap. And what happens is if we don't immediately know what we want to fill that gap up with, even if it's just a feeling and we don't know exactly what that feeling looks like or, you know, um, takes place as in this world, you know, we might just know that we want to fill it up with feeling. We need to know what that is because we want to fill it up before anything else has a space to creep back in or fill it up with some other garbage. Even though we have our things to let go of, first we want to figure out what it is that we want to step towards. What are we intending for the month? So this month is all about the new moon in Pisces. And again, it's all about spiritual connection, our bigger purpose, right? Some of that introspection that's going to happen because there might be a part of us that's really looking for that bigger purpose. And then with Mercury retrograde that just started, and we'll be like halfway through this moon cycle, there's going to be like extra stirring of stuff and a lot of introspection. So this is the perfect new moon to make some really great intentions for. So how does it feel to be in connection with your own inner wisdom, this spiritual connection? For me, it's like that internal, forever, ethereal kind of knowledge, right? That divine knowing, like you're connected to that divine knowledge of the universe. And so we're going to take a little journey and we're going to meet an archetype in this moon. And of course, it is our wise woman, the crone. Um, and so if you are struggling with the word crone, which I find that some of my friends over 55 have a huge problem. I don't know how it was used in their youth. And when I looked up the definition, it does say a hag. We're not using this in the sense of a hag or some unworthy old woman. This crone is powerful. This crone is the wise elder that anyone in a village would go to because she has the best feedback and wisdom, really, you know, that she understands all of the beauty of life. So let's go on in and let's just do the visualization because you'll hear more about her while you're in there. So get comfortable. Let me flip around my legs because I'm getting older. Oops, that's a dog foot. Okay. So, in this visualization, we're going to get even more grounded in our heart space, and then we're going to take this little journey. We're going to visit somebody you may not know, and you may, so we'll just figure it out. So, get really comfortable and, you know, sitting down, laying down, whatever works for you so that you can really tune in. When you're uncomfortable, close your eyes. And then take a big breath and slowly let it out of your nose. Notice your breathing. Is it shallow or is it filling? Just notice. And now take one more deep breath in and slowly let it out of your nose. Now imagine yourself standing in blank white space. You notice your swirling cloud of colors around you, these familiar colors from earlier. The colors in the cloud, again, are this cotton candy pink, a milky white, and a shimmering gold. And these colors are softly swirling about in a big ball. Touch those colors. See if you can reach out and touch them. And notice the softness of those colors. Perhaps they feel cool, maybe refreshing, or maybe they're warm and cozy. Just notice how they feel for you. Now reach out with both hands and pull that ball of colors over you. Step into the swirl of colors and let them swirl around you. This pink, white, and gold. And feel into your heart space. Now imagine seeing yourself close your eyes while in this cloud of color. It just continues to swirl. And when you see yourself opening your eyes, you are in a garden. This garden is a safe space and designed however you would like it. Maybe it's a garden of flowers or an orchard of trees. Take a moment and design your space. See the luscious colors. Hear the sounds. Is there water or animals? Smell the fresh, growing wild. Take a moment. After you have that picture in your mind, take a moment to feel the space. What does it feel like to you to be in this safe space, designed wildly as you like it? When you have taken in the whole space and the feeling of it, you notice a woman coming towards you. She walks softly. Her motions are gentle and inviting. This is your inner crone. Connect with her however feels comfortable to you. A nod, a hug, a kiss. Look into her eyes. She is wise. She knows everything about you. She understands the cycle of life and can see the big picture of life, the paradoxes. She holds life and death, light and dark, new and old. She is your most loving mentor and elder. She may look like you, she may not. Take a moment to take in what she looks like to you. You have a really good picture of her. Find a place in the garden to sit with your crone. Get comfortable and ensure she's comfortable too. Tell her about what is happening in your life right now. Tell her what it is that you need most right now or in the next moon phase. When you are done telling her, ask her for one word or phrase that might help you. One word or phrase that might help you. What does she offer you? Then ask her for a blessing. What is the blessing she offers? Once she's offered you a word and a blessing, thank her for her wisdom and connect with her eyes again. What is one blessing your inner sovereign can offer to your crone? What is one thing you honor in her or can offer her as a blessing? And then one more time, connect with your divine knowing in her eyes. She is you. You are her. Her wisdom and spiritual connection is your wisdom and spiritual connection. Feel into that. Feel your divine knowing. Take a breath. Your crone gets up and softly pads away. And take another breath. And notice the pink and white and gold swirling colors are in the garden. Step into that ball of pink, white, and gold. Close your eyes and take a moment and a breath. When you open your eyes, feel yourself back in your room and connect with my voice. And open your eyes for real. Now take a moment and just journal down some of those things that you noticed in your garden. Some of the things would be, what does your garden look like? What does your crone look like? What does she feel like? What does your garden feel like? Most importantly, what was the blessing she gave you and the word or phrase she gave you for the next month? What blessing did you offer her? So take a moment. Feel free to pause me so that you can really capture all of those details for yourself, because there's some inner wisdom and divine knowing just in those answers. Your brain doesn't work spastically. It knows what it's doing. So feel free to tap into that. Are you back? Okay. So now we have what it is we want to let go of. We have some divine wisdom, some divine knowing kind of flowing through our energy in our bodies. And now this is when we want to start deciding what our intentions are. And to me, intentions are two things. They're feelings, a planning, and action. Okay? So the first thing, some people have specific intentions. I want to write 6 blog posts next month. I want to write 2 chapters of my book. I want to go out with my family 3 times in the next month. Those types of things. For me, what I have learned and what has really helped me is the Desire Map by Daniel Laporte. Now, all honesty, I am a Daniel Laporte facilitator, so of course this is one of my favorite courses. But in all honesty, the reason I became a Daniel Laporte facilitator was because her work really stuck with me, and it really has helped me make daily decisions in my life, and monthly intentions, annual intentions, 10-year intentions. And the way I do that, it's just figuring out how do I want to feel most of the time in most of the areas of my life, right? So mostly there's some core desired feelings that we have, these feelings that we want to feel most of the time. And so that's how I set my intentions for the next month. I come down to the feelings, and I pretty much keep the same core desired feelings unless there's something specific or crazy going on that month that I need additional ones. She doesn't like the feelings. And so I come up with what is my intention? What am I intending to do in order to help myself feel this way? Because it's my responsibility to meet those intentions, right? I love the idea of manifesting, and I believe manifesting comes with action. You can't just say, I want to, publish a book, but never actually start writing it, right? So there's action that comes with these intentions. So the feelings come first, right? So my core desired feelings just happen to be divine knowing, expansive love, and transcendent. So the second piece is, what are my intentions? Well, my intentions are to bring, maybe I want to focus on one core desired feeling more than others because maybe that one's lacking, or maybe that one's really on a good momentum and I just want to keep it going. And really for February, if you can imagine it, for the last moon into February, I had made it expansive love. So this month I actually have a lot of brand new things to me that I'm doing. So I am going to go with my transcendent feeling as the focus. So you can have as many as you like. I like to keep it 3 or less because it keeps it simple with a focus on one, because I want to make sure that I at least knock one thing out of the park. That's how I roll. You can roll however you like. But so if you can come up with some feelings first, and then we go into the intention. The intention is that I am going to expand outside of my limits, which is what transcendent means, outside of one's physical limitations, right? That I'm going to go do new things, and that's going to be transcendent for me. However, that also comes with the intention of being really kind to myself, knowing that I'm doing a lot of new things and that I might not do them perfectly, and that I can um, just be kinder to myself, be more forgiving of, and just having the proactive feeling of, hey, I'm learning, I'm going to make mistakes so that I don't have to worry about them. And usually, if I can take the stress out of them away, I do things a lot better. So that's my intention. And then my action would be that I'm going to review my materials for these new things a lot to make sure that I'm really, really prepared. So being prepared is one of the actions that I can do. Asking questions is an action I can do. Action I don't always like to do, and yet when I'm learning, I need to learn to ask questions more so that I can be really clear and prepared. So that's another action I can take. So again, if you need to pause this, this is a really great place to do this, is to come up with the feeling. What is the planned intention, right? Like, what is the intention behind it? Now that you know how you want to feel, how do you want to act on it? Or it sounds like action, but a general, like which one, a focus, basically. What is your focus? And then what is your action? So what actions are you going to do to ensure that you feel the way you want to feel? Okay, and then there's one more bonus before you pause me, or in case you did pause me, there's one more piece to that last piece, is that I like to have an action to remind me to do the action. I know it sounds crazy, but if I just leave it to myself, to depend on myself to come up with my core desired feelings or remember them every day, I can easily let that slack. That's why I have a daily planner, is because I know that that's the only way I'll stay on it, is if I force myself to do it every day. And you can also set phone reminders. I've set them up to 6 times a day to remember how it is that I want to feel, so I can remember that and constantly make decisions with that in mind, that if I want to feel transcendent, I can't go back to the default of always, maybe turning on the TV and getting suckered in, when I could be preparing and reviewing what it is I need to prepare and review. Yeah, so make sure that you come up with actions to remind yourself to do these actions and stay accountable to yourself for really following through. It's really important. Okay, let me see where I am, because I just kind of went off. Okay, so what we want to do now is get Mindy all comfortable. Where are you going? What you doing? What you doing, baby? You need to just stay, okay? Because we're about to set fire and you're not going to like it. So, oops. So, and I didn't write my list yet, so if you're still writing your other things, taking some notes, go ahead, do that. I'm just going to, I know what 3 things I wanted to put on my letting go list. Okay, so here's the little ritual for it now that we did the visualization. So you got that little sheet, or maybe you have a bunch of little sheets. I don't know. I also have used Post-it notes in the past. So you just, for me, I like to roll it up into this little thing so it all kind of burns. And then as I roll it off, once the list is done, I only have to burn what is necessary. So, because some of us in Arizona don't have a fireplace. So I do put that in my burn jar, and I also take some of that yummy lavender, and I just sprinkle that on the bottom of the bowl. Of course, I gotta try to get some stuff without sticks here because I didn't fully pick it properly. Okay, cool. And then as I'm doing this, I like to, just state the things out loud. So what I'm letting go of is perfectionism, and I'd like to let go of some of my lazier habits and self-sabotage. Let's go with those. It's like, did I not bring a lighter? And I never did light the candles. So I have to use the lighter. And we just burn, baby, burn. And what I'm stepping into is transcendent, where I'm going to be kind to myself and nurturing because I'm doing new things, and I'm learning new things so that I can provide, so that I can be more fully in my mission, really, to hold space for women. So there we have it. Of course, while it's lighting and burning, I often like to sit and just smell the lavender and really see myself in that space of transcendent is my feeling. What is your feeling? Really sit in that space. What does that feel like for me? And feel all the warm goodness or the cool, refreshing goodness or whatever it feels like to you. Sparkly goodness, whatever it feels like, feel that. And then your altar is here to bring you back to this place all the time, right? So you could light this lavender every day if that reminds you of your feelings that you want. Or if you have special essential oils that you use for specific things. There's some really great blends out there, and I use a different one for each of my classes. So I have those on my altar as well. That's one thing I didn't put on here is I have essential oils that I often will just smell or maybe put a little on my wrist, so that when I'm meditating or praying, I have that sensory trigger. And then if I need that feeling later, right, if I want to know what transcendent feels like later, I just have to open that essential oil bottle and it'll bring me right back. So those are my tricks. And now we're just going to close this circle. So I'll pull you another truth bomb. Let's see if there's anything else here. Be the exception. That's a good one. Okay, and then the closing reading, the same poem I read every month, but I just love it so much because I think it's all about our compassion and perhaps goes perfectly with my intentions all the time. So it's a poem by Rumi. Love. The new moon grows slowly, stage by stage. We should progress like that, deliberately, with patience. I hear the new moon whispering, impatient fool. It is only step by step you climb to the roof. Be a seasoned cook. Let the pot boil little by little. A stew cooked in mad haste tastes terrible. So just a reminder of ourselves to step a little bit more into that feminine, into the flow, and allowing and receiving, rather than always pushing and trying to get that to-do list complete. Take time for you and tap into that divine knowing. If you enjoyed this, fantastic. Let me know. I'd love to have feedback. If you have any questions about any of my upcoming retreats or workshops, feel free to go on my website, schedule an appointment with me, or just email me. I'm sure my email will be around here somewhere. So thank you. Bye.